Welcome to the Blitz Show, brought to you by Covers, where Derek Carty and his Blitz projections look to pick off the best. Plus EV plays for every primetime game. Week 6, Derek goes 9-2 straight up, plus 6.55 units. We've been running pretty hot since week 3, Monday night, plus 15 units. 39.59% ROI on plays this year. Have you been thrilled with how the projections are going so far?
Yeah, it's been a great year. We've kind of lucked into having some good games on these primetime slates, and there's just been good value, and it's been hitting. So yeah, it's been a nice run.
It certainly has. And now we turn our attention. Week 7, Thursday night football, Jacksonville at New Orleans. Trevor Lawrence availability is a tough one here. I'm sure it's very difficult to project, but even if you can project it, books aren't giving us props for basically anything on the Jacksonville side, so it's tough. We're seeing New Orleans as high as -3. If Lawrence is out, you could see that move to 3.5, maybe 4, and as low as -1. And if Lawrence plays, it could turn to a pick 'em. Everyone's talking about Lawrence, Derek, but there's also some other massive factors here working mostly against Jacksonville. Zay Jones, DNP. Tyson Campbell, their best coverage corner, boundary corner, DNP likely out. Walker Little and Brandon Scherf, two of their better offensive linemen, out. So if CJ Beathard starts, he's going to be behind the ball already without probably missing 2 starting linemen and Zay Jones. But in saying that, Saints a little healthier. We got leans, we got plays. These are borderline plays, Derek says, so I'll let him make the official call on what it is. The first one being Alvin Kamara over 52.5 rushing yards, plus 110 at the time of recording, Wednesday afternoon. That's at DraftKings. That's at Betway. He's accounted for all but 6 of the Saints' 25 total rushing attempts last week. The volume's there. Jamal Williams likely not activated off the IR. So basically all his roles, including the goal line, are Kamara's this week.
Yeah, we're definitely counting on Jamal Williams not being activated on a short week. I mean, there's a chance he comes back, but it seems very unlikely. The Blitz is projecting 66 yards here, so we're getting about 15 or so over the line at a little bit of plus money. This is nice. It becomes even nicer if Trevor Lawrence does not play, because Jacksonville will fall further behind and more likely of a chance that the Saints are running the ball in the second half. Kamara getting the bulk of that work, like you said. I think the really interesting thing here too is that for most of the year and even last year, Taysom Hill has basically been like the number 2, quote unquote, running back. But since Alvin Kamara's come back, his share of the rushing attempts has fallen to like 7%. It's like cut in like thirds or quarters of what it was. And last week we saw him going out and running a lot of like traditional routes as a tight end. And so if they're using him more in that way instead of in the run game, that opens up more opportunities for Kamara.
Yeah, pretty modest number here at 52.5 indoors. Like you said, this is being priced on the New Orleans -1 line. But if that line does go to the Saints -3 or even more with CJ Beathard up, expect this number to be pushed up just because of game script.
Exactly.
All right. Lean or play with you on that one. Putting you on the spot.
We'll call it play. We'll call it play.
Ooh, play. Let's go. Play it is. Alvin Kamara over 52.5 rushing yards, plus 110. Second one, we got Derek Carr over 236.5 passing yards, even money at Caesars. Play or lean, Derek?
We're going to call this one a play too.
Fantastic. Love to hear it. Facing a Jacksonville secondary, like I said, without its best coverage boundary corner, Taysom Campbell. And the depth is pretty thin too in Jacksonville, who has 3 other corners out or on IR. Raheed Shaheed is a dangerous man. And then outside of him, you still have Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and now Taysom Hill getting the like it's such a loaded amount of weapons that Derek Carr has. It's indoors. I know your projections love that. And might be a little discount, not much, but the Saints scored 13 points last week, but Derek Carr still threw for 350 yards.
Yeah, Derek Carr is an above-average quarterback with a really, really good supporting cast. It's indoors, like you said. Both of these teams play in the top third of the league in terms of their pace, so this projects as the 3rd fastest paced game of the week. We should see extra volume on both sides, and this is just a low number for Derek Carr. The Blitz is projecting 265, so we're getting about 30 yards over at even money, and this one looks like a good value.
Ooh, I wonder if Rahid Shaheed could make up 100 of those yards for plus, what I say, plus 1225.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like it could be done in 3 catches. He
Oh,
doesn't
it
need
can. I
12
mean,
targets.
that's how he's used. He could easily get that. He catches a couple deep balls and then he's there.
Yeah, yeah, it's not volume based, but when you have someone like that, and then obviously Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, Foster Moreau, even catching a few balls at the tight end spot. There's a lot to go around there, and if CJ Beathard does play, that's going to be an absolute gassed Jacksonville defense because that offense is not going to be on the field much. The time of possession will tilt to New Orleans, and like you said, could be some big plays. Alvin Kamara could have a big day quantity wise, and Derek Carr could be hitting close to this number before the fourth quarter even starts. And those garbage carries make a big point of this. So, like I said, there's still lots of variance in this game. We still got to figure out what Trevor Lawrence is, but these prices are based on the current number of minus New Orleans -1. So I'm assuming the projection has Lawrence at what? Can you put him in a projection at about 70% of the game and Beathard in 30%?
Yeah, you can. Right now, I have him closer to 100, but because it
Nice.
seems like it's leaning that way, but it is possible that he doesn't go, and so that does need to kind of go in there.
All right. So if you're looking at these are, even if Lawrence plays, these are still fantastic goes and plays
Yeah.
with Lawrence in.
Yep.
That's great news. That great news. And if Lawrence is out, then these will be looking a lot better. So win-win. Let's call it a win-win there with 2 plays. Alvin Kamara over 52.5 rushing yards plus 110. Derek Carr over 236.5 passing yards, even money. That will do it for us here Thursday Night Football Week 7. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. This is the Blitz Show brought to you by Covers. See you back here Sunday Night Football.